making sure children are healthy, safe, loved, ready to learn, succeeding in school and in life. This is Our Children, a program brought to you by the Children's Trust.
Good morning. I'm Imran Ali, Interim President and CEO of the Children's Trust.
And I'm Ileana Borella with the Herbert Wertheim College of Medicine at FIU. And together we welcome you to Our Children. You know, it's a busy time in South Florida. The Miami Book Fair is coming up and the holiday season is upon us. But it's also National Adoption Month. So we want to take the time to tell you about children in our own community who need permanent, loving homes.
We're talking about children in foster care. Terrific kids who ended up in the child welfare system through no fault of their own. And here today with much more on this subject is Jackie Gonzalez, CEO of Our Kids of Miami-Dade and Monroe counties.
So Jackie, thank you for being with us. It's great to have you. Why don't we
having
start
me.
out, Jackie, by demystifying these children in foster care. So tell us who they are and why is it so important that they be adopted before they turn 18?
Ileana, these are children just like our children. They're wonderful children. The only thing that has happened to them is that they've had the misfortune of being born into a family that perhaps has abused, abandoned, or neglected them. But they're wonderful children that will fill your life with lots of joy. The daunting reality is that if these children are not adopted before they turn 18, they may face a life of homelessness and perhaps even worse. So it's critically important that these children can be adopted before they turn 18. And there are lots of different resources available in our community that can help these folks that adopt the children. But it's just very important, and I encourage everyone to meet these children and get to know them, because I promise you that you will fall in love with them.
Tell us about the adoption process. What does it take to adopt a child in foster care, and what is your agency's role in it?
Typically, the adoption process involves several things. The first step is expressing the interest. And some folks like to first become foster parents and do that for a while and then transition gradually into adoption. Other folks decide that they don't want to foster, that they want to do an adoption from the outset. In either case, typically there is a training that's involved. It's about 10 weeks long. It's called the PRIDE training. As part of that training, staff from the various agencies that actually perform the adoptions would go to the home, conduct a home study of the home, background screens of the folks that live in the home, and assess how well suited that home is for the child or children that they're seeking to adopt. Once that process is complete, it goes very quickly and easily from there.
And when you say quickly and easily, how much are we talking about? How much time are we talking about?
It can be as little as 3 months. It could take as long as 6 to 8 months. A lot of it depends actually on the folks who are adopting, because sometimes they want to go very slowly because they're getting used to the process, and we like to have as many visits and interactions as possible with the children and the prospective adoptive parents before the actual finalization takes place. So a lot of it is driven by the adoptive parents and what their priorities are and their wishes.
You know, I've actually heard this from people. When you say foster care, a lot of people think in their minds temporary, and some people are frankly afraid because they're afraid of falling in love with these children and afraid that somewhere along the line a biological parent can come in later on once they adopt these children and actually taking them away, go to court and taking them away. So how can you reassure these people that that's not going to happen once they adopt these children?
That would be very unlikely. By the time a child is adopted, the legal process is played out. And that means that the biological parents' parental rights have been terminated. And that the appellate process, any possible appeals that could have been filed with regard to that judgment, that time period has already lapsed. So there's no legal remedy available to biological parents once that appeal process window has passed. So by the time the child is available for adoption, the danger of that happening is already behind them. So that is highly unlikely.
Because I know that, I mean, I've actually had people tell me that.
Well, that can happen in the fostering process. And we're very clear with foster parents that you're fostering, and it is temporary by definition.
But not in the adoption process.
But in the adoption process, once a child is freed for adoption, all of the legal avenues available to biological parents to challenge the final judgment of adoption have lapsed.
So National Adoption Day is coming up.
Yes.
Tell us when that is and what is our kids' role in celebrating that day.
We're very excited. National Adoption Day is November 20th at the Miami Children's Museum at 9 in the morning. We are finalizing approximately 68 adoptions that morning. The judges from the juvenile courts of Miami attend. We create mock courtrooms throughout the museum. It's a wonderful venue for the children because, of course, it's all about the children. And there are many activities and exhibits there that the children are playing and interacting with as the adoptions are happening simultaneously. All of the agencies that provide case management services are the ones that have actually helped to make this possible. They've facilitated the adoptions, and our role is to help them in all of the different things that have to happen in order for that finalization to take place. And the Children's Trust underwrites that event, and it's just a magnificent event. It's really the one time a year that we all look forward to, those of us who do this for a living, because you get to see the fruits of your labor and you remember why you do this work.
Yeah, sounds very interesting. Now, one of the things that I want to talk about is the Miami Heart Gallery, because
Yes.
this is also one of
Yes.
the really exciting things that you do, which is something, again, that the Children's Trust and our kids work together on very closely. And for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, this is an online photo exhibit of the kids in foster care who are up for adoption. It's really something else to experience this. I've actually been there while it's being done, and it's absolutely amazing. And we're going to show you a video now of children being pampered and prepared for their close-ups. Actually, it takes a small army of volunteers, from hairdressers and makeup artists to photographers and videographers, all involved in making this project a success. And Jackie, I've seen this over the years. This has truly become an incredible tool, a matchmaking tool to match these kids with prospective parents, hasn't it?
It has, and it's changed the whole face of the process, because I remember before there was a heart gallery, and the process was very different.
How many
So
years now?
It's been about 10 years since we
Wow.
started the Heart Gallery, if I'm not mistaken. Prior to the Heart Gallery, there were very little opportunities for prospective adoptive parents to get to know much about the child or children they were adopting. The Heart Gallery enables them to go online, to see photographs of the kids, to read lots of information about the children, to hear interviews that were conducted with the children. So it gives them a good sense, because our primary concern is to make sure that before we introduce any children to a prospective adoptive parent, that we have a pretty compelling belief that it's going to be a good fit. Because if not, we don't even want to open that door. So the Heart Gallery is a tool that facilitates that for us. And it's an amazing thing. And by the way, it doesn't just help us with securing adoptive parents. Oftentimes, folks decide at the last minute that they don't want to adopt, but they're willing to foster or to become volunteers or mentor our children. And it all starts through that vehicle of the Heart
It's
Gallery.
absolutely amazing. I want to give you one last word on this topic, because I know that you work with the Department of Children and Families for many years, and you know firsthand what these children go through. Your final thoughts on this?
Well, it's always a challenge to handle children in the child welfare system, but I think where we could help as a community is to help to recruit foster parents and adoptive parents. So I think as a community we need to support not only the children you see on the Heart Gallery, but also additional children that are in the foster care system. I think this is a great way of showing our support for these children who have been abused and neglected.
Jackie, thank you. Thank you
you.
very much. I want to give you a website that you can turn to for more information. It is miamiheartgallery.org. Remember, National Adoption Month is here, and there is no time like the present to save a child's life and change your own for the better. We're going to take a short break and come back with news about Children's Alley and the biggest and best book fair in the country. It's all right here, so don't go away.
The most important 20 minutes of your day is spent reading to a child. Make books a part of your family's daily routine. Point to and talk about the pictures. Ask your child to repeat the words. Answer questions. Talk about it.
Pop! On his head, we saw Little Cat.
If your child is 3 or will be soon, they can get a free book every month from the Children's Trust. Just enroll them in the free Read to Learn book club. Sign up at thechildrenstrust.org or call 211. The Children's Trust, because all children are our children.
Welcome back. It's so important for children to be able to read well to succeed in school. And not every child is motivated to read. So today we're going to talk about one of the most inspirational literary events of the year for children and grown-ups alike. Joining us now is Lisette Mendez, Programs Director for the Miami Book Fair.
Lisette, thanks for coming, especially since I know you must be exhausted. I know you're busy because you're coming down to the wire. Let's take this in steps. So I want to start out with the Children's Alley, which is for the young'uns, the young readers, the little ones who are beginning to read. What you got in store for them?
Oh, we go back even before they're learning to read, because we feel it's very important to catch kids from the day they're born. So we have the Plaza. The book fair takes place at Miami-Dade College, the Wilson campus, which is in downtown Miami, and there's a plaza behind Building 1, and we just turned that into a literary playground. So we have 7 pop-up venues where they're like colorful tents, and each one is themed. We have a science theme, a music theme, an art, visual arts theme, and we have one that's for toddlers, that's friendlier for the little ones. And in each of those venues, there are books and people reading and activities that are based on the books that are being read to the children or along with the children. So that's just one of the things that happens, those little venues that and we partner with a lot of other local organizations in town. So for example, in the science venue where they're doing experiments and whatnot, it's with the Frost Museum of Science. With the Children's Museum, we partner on our Many World, Many Stories tent, where kids learn about other cultures and create activities, create arts and other kinds of activities related to the books that they're reading about other cultures. But then we also have a venue called Wembley's Wordsmith Storytorium, and that's where the authors.
Fun.
It is fun, and we wanted to make it fun. We wanted to give it a twist so that kids would be like, "Who's that? What is he doing here?" And he brings authors with him. He brings authors from all over the country who come to read to the kids, to get them excited about books. Some of them are very well-known authors. A lot of our kids, love Captain Underpants.
Oh yeah,
And
my son was a big fan when he was younger. Yeah.
Dave Pelkey, sorry, who writes Captain Underpants and other books, will be at the book fair this year for the little ones. Tad Hills, who writes the Rocket series. Rocket is a little dog who learns how to read, and then he learns how to write, and now, he has different adventures. He's coming also to book fair. So we have a lot of authors for the little children, but also for tweens and teenagers.
We're going to talk about tweens in a little bit, but remember, we're taking this in stages.
I know the Children's Trust is sponsoring Once Upon a Time Stage, with featuring a lot of artists and storytellers. Tell us, how is that going to happen, and how that relates back to the children getting into the habit of reading and getting to love reading?
Definitely, the Once Upon a Time stage it's a big stage on the plaza, and there's music, there's storytellers, there's performance. Reading and books are just ways of telling stories, right? Mm-hmm. We all tell stories to sort of, explicate our own lives, our existence, what we mean on this earth. And I find that whether the performance is theater or it's a music performance, it's another way of getting stories, and for children to understand the necessity for being part of a larger cultural experience that is about themselves as well as about the people around them, so that they can, it's a way of building bridges too. They learn about a kind of music and where that music comes from, and how that particular kind of music, for example, can tell the stories of that culture. Any time that you can bring children together with a cultural experience of one kind or another, I think helps to broaden their perspective on the world, and helps to help them think. It helps them think about themselves in the context of a larger community. And in the end, it's part of the Miami Book Fair, and then they go and they have fun and they discover the book. So it's also another way, I think, of sneaking the books in there. and getting them excited.
Okay, so now let's get back to teens and tweens, because that's a big readership you got there.
Yeah. I think that
What you got for them?
we have a lot of authors for them. Teens and tweens are harder. They don't want to be hanging out with the little kids, but they're obviously not adults.
But
so
they have a big readership.
yes,
Yeah.
and we have so we have a venue. One of the theaters in the campus is going to be dedicated to those to the authors that kids are reading now. So we have, for example, Ridley Pearson, who writes all of the Kingdom Keeper series. He's coming to Book Fair to talk about that. Peter Larangis, who's written the 39 Clues and has a series now called Seven Wonders. He's coming to Book Fair. Melissa De La Cruz, who's writing the Descendants book series. That's a huge with girls specifically because it's based on the villains on the descendants of the Disney villains. There's books that we have a really great program this year. We've partnered with the National Book Foundation, and they do something in New York with the National Book Award winners every year called the Teen Press Conference. And what it is teenagers from around the school system, Miami-Dade County school system, will be coming together for a special event where they will serve as junior journalists in talking to the authors who are going to be here in Miami that are nominated or either on the short list, long list, or winners of the National Book Awards. So Neil Schusterman, who's got a wonderful book about a teenager with mental illness, with schizophrenia, and it's from the point of view of this boy. A daughter of Malcolm X, Ilyasa Shabazz, who is going to be here with a graphic novel about the life of Malcolm X and growing up and how what his life was like. She's going to be here as well for that program, there's a few others. There's a great book about a girl who, Ali Benjamin, and she's a first-time author, but it's about a girl whose best friend dies, and she wants to know what happened to her, and so she investigates that. So there's tons of wonderful events.
So there's a whole gamut. So we're running out of time, but I do want to get to the cost, admission. How much?
Well, kids under 13 are free. Between 13 and 17, it's $5. Parents or caretakers or other folks that want to bring kids with them, they're $8. And then over 62, folks over 62, it's $5 as well.
And parking at the college is free.
Parking at Miami-Dade College is free. Yes.
Okay, great. Thanks again, Lisette,
Thank
for
you.
being
Thank you
here.
for having
I know
me.
it's going to be another great year for the book fair. So, folks, I wouldn't miss it if I was you. Up next,
Thank you.
where to take the kids when the book fair isn't in town. So do not go away. We'll be right back.
Books are the key to unlock a child's imagination and open their eyes to a world of learning. But in some communities, the ratio of books per child is 1 to 300. The Children's Trust encourages you to introduce your children to the power of your nearest library. Increasing access to books helps your child succeed in school, and the best part is that this amazing resource is absolutely free. To learn more about how to make reading a priority for your child, visit thechildrenstrust.org and click on Read to Learn, because all children are our children.
It's not all about the school, or the teacher, or the neighborhood you live in, but those books on the shelf will open many doors when you open them up and read to your kids.
Read.
Lee.
Lee.
Read to your kids.
Let them read to you.
Because when kids read,
We
all
all
succeed.
To learn more, log on to thechildrenstrust.org and click on Read to Learn. The Children's Trust, because all children are our children.
Welcome back. Our public library system is certainly one of our community treasures, and best of all, it's free. Joining us now to talk about everything libraries have to offer to our children, please welcome Kimberly Matthews, Assistant Director of the Miami-Dade County Public Library System. Kimberly, our system, our library system, went through a tough financial time for a period, and it's well on its way to recovery. Tell us about what it now has to offer to our children.
We have been through a difficult time, but we are very happy and proud to be in a new day, recovering from that time period and offering robust services once again. And we're really happy to be here. And one of our primary priorities moving forward is children's services, and specifically early literacy is going to be a primary project for us. In our library system, we have over 150 programs dedicated to children per week. And we think that's absolutely fabulous. That's a lot of things happening at the library. In addition to that, of course, we have our summer reading program. A little birdie told me that this coming year it's going to be about sports, so who knows what'll happen with that, but it should be pretty exciting. In addition to that, we have a lot of great spaces. We have beautiful children's rooms spread throughout the county. Those rooms that need a little tweaking, we're renovating. For example, the West Dade branch just got a renovation to its children's space, and it's absolutely beautiful. We had that grand opening not too long ago. And in addition, we have received extra money for our book budget, and so people can expect to see more children's material on the shelves, more picture books, more early reading books, more chapter, lots of good things for kids. And of course, no library is complete without the librarians and the excellent staff that bring all of that to life. And so we're going to be putting extra emphasis to our children's services, to the training of our staff on children's services, and to the hiring of subject specialists for children.
And you say, you said books on shelves. I mean, it's like music to my ears, because I have to admit, I may be dating myself here, but I'm a bit of a traditionalist, because to me, you know, an actual book is the ultimate. But I do realize that, you know, technology is part of our life, and it has become such a major part of the modern library. So how has that expanded into the Miami-Dade library system as well?
Of course, we absolutely understand.
It's a reality, right?
It is, it is. And, you know, as a librarian, of course, I'm a book lover. We all are.
Curling up with a book is still like something
you know,
special.
I remember, we've all been book lovers from childhood. I remember my mother, you know, reading to me, curling up with a picture book. We all had our favorites.
But this is an age of technology, so.
It is, and so we are focused on the strategic and thoughtful integration of technology and innovation into our library systems. And what that means is not just throwing technology in for the sake of saying you have technology and innovation, but really very thoughtfully placed in a manner that leads to specific programming, to learning opportunities for our children. These include things such as iPad stations, so that our kids can have, if they don't have an iPad at home, they're exposed to that kind of technology that allows them to grow, to learn. In addition, some of our new locations, Northeast Aventura branch, which is a gorgeous new facility that's recently opened in the last 2 months, has this amazing smart table, and watching the kids play on that, it's filled with interactive learning games for early education, and in addition it creates a learning environment where they can interact with each other and the educational tools, and it's really exciting to watch. One of the things I think we don't think about very often as adults, we think about downloadable audiobooks, downloadable ebooks a lot, but we don't think of it for our children as much. But we actually do have quite a bit of downloadable audiobooks, ebooks, and this is a great way, audiobooks. It's a great learning and teaching tool. So if you have a child who is perhaps a struggling reader, pairing that audiobook with the physical book so that they can not only listen, but watch the words as they go by, it's a really great tool. In addition, ebooks for building vocabulary. You know, I just saw something great on Facebook. It said, you know that you've switched between formats when you are reading your paper book and you press a word to get the definition, and I have to say I've been guilty of that a time or two. And so, but think about that in the application for children. So if they're reading a book that they don't know a word, they find a word, you know, pressing that, getting an instant definition, building vocabulary. So there's a lot of really great places that we can integrate technology, and of course we have some really great spaces opening up. We have a UMake makerspace opening up at the Miami Beach branch, and that's going to be geared towards families, geared towards interactive, using technology to learn, innovate, explore, 3D printers, robotics, MacBooks, arts and crafts, lots of very exciting things.
Oh, sounds exciting.
Yeah.
With all that, what's the best way of getting a library card?
That's where it starts,
Well,
right?
absolutely. Everything starts with your library card, and that you can start in two different ways. You can either apply online for your library card and then come in and get it, or you can just come into one of our 49 fabulous locations.
So, speaking of technology, how can people hook up with all these services? You have a Facebook page, social media.
Absolutely. We have a great
Website.
website. We have a great
There you go.
website, so mdpls.org. Go online. You can not only find a calendar of events for all of these great programs, you can find the locations of all these great spaces I've been mentioning. You can download your audio or your ebooks right there. We have a lot of, don't forget all that homework help that we have online. All of that can be found on our page, our website. And then in addition, of course, we have a Twitter presence where we're sending out constant updates about what's happening. And then feel free to like us on Facebook, and we send out a lot of good information that
I
way.
have one final question before we run out of time. Do you still have a service where if something is not available in your local library, you can get it from another library? A lot of people don't realize that that service is available. I think it's magnificent.
Absolutely. Not only, libraries are all about building community and bringing things together, and that includes our collections. And so not only can you pull anything from any of the Miami-Dade Public Library System locations to your closest branch, but also we have something called interlibrary loan where if it exists, we can probably get it for you.
So just ask and you shall receive.
Absolutely.
It's amazing, right?
Great, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Reading is a wonderful thing and you make it so easy.
Thank you.
There's no excuse, right?
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Kimberly, Imran. Why don't you and I check out the library across the street?
Sure.
We have a little time. I'm Liliana Varela. On behalf of the Children's Trust and Imran Ali, thank you for watching this special edition of Our Children. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Saturday as well as the upcoming holiday season. Bye-bye.
Our Children is brought to you by the Children's Trust. The Children's Trust invests in programs and services that help make children healthy, safe, loved, ready to learn, succeed in school and in life. To access its funded programs and services in Miami-Dade County, visit thechildrenstrust.org or call the Children's Trust helpline at 211, because all children are our children.